The night sky above the barren planet of Veralia was dark and endless. Stars glimmered like silver dust scattered over black velvet. Captain Ryan stepped off the ramp of his small shuttle, his boots sinking into the soft red sand. The air was still, but it carried a strange, sweet smell, like flowers blooming after a storm. He adjusted the scanner on his wrist, its green lights flickering as it tried to read the strange signals coming from the ruins ahead. The ruins were old, far older than anything recorded in human charts. Tall stone spires stood like broken teeth against the sky, their surfaces covered with glowing blue markings. Ryan had been sent here with a small crew to investigate a mysterious distress beacon. The signal had no origin in the galactic database, and yet it called directly to human ships. Somehow it felt personal, as if it had been meant for him alone. He walked slowly, every step echoing in the silence. The rest of his crew stayed behind at the shuttle, monitoring from a safe distance. They warned him to keep his helmet sealed, but Ryan had removed it the moment he landed. The air felt alive, like it was breathing with him. He couldn't explain why, but something inside told him he was safe, even welcome. The entrance to the main ruin was wide and dark. A massive archway of black stone loomed before him. The symbols on it shifted. When he looked too long, like water moving in sunlight, he reached out, his gloved fingers brushing against the carvings. The moment he touched them, the symbols began to glow brighter. A soft hum filled the air, deep and rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Then he heard it, a voice. It wasn't in his ears, but in his mind, clear and warm. Ryan. It whispered, stretching his name like a melody. He froze, his breath catching. The voice came again. I have been waiting. He looked around, but there was no one in sight, only shadows moving along the walls. A faint light appeared deeper. Inside the temple, it shimmered like a flame but without heat. He stepped toward it, drawn as if by invisible threads. The light grew, and within it, a shape began to form. It was a woman, at least. She looked like one. Her skin glowed faintly. Her hair flowed like liquid silver. Her eyes were bright and endless. Like tiny galaxies, Ryan felt his heartbeat race, but not from fear. She stepped closer, her bare feet making no sound on the stone floor. Every movement she made felt deliberate, graceful, and ancient. When she spoke again, her lips didn't move, but the words filled his mind. You came to me as I knew you would. He tried to speak aloud, his voice shaking. Who are you? She smiled softly, tilting her head. I am Serenia, last of the Soul Weavers. Her voice seemed to carry both joy and sadness. And you, human, are the one I have been seeking. Ryan took a step back, his instincts warning him. What do you want from me? Her eyes softened, and the air between them shimmered with strange energy. To join with you, to merge our souls, to become one. Her words struck him like a wave, confusing, impossible, yet strangely comforting. In the shuttle, Ryan's crew called over the com, their voices tense. Captain, we're picking up strange readings. Get out of there now. But Ryan barely heard them. Serenia's presence filled his thoughts, blocking out everything else. She raised her hand slowly, her palm glowing with soft light. Come closer, human, she whispered in his mind. The air around him pulsed like a living thing. He wanted to turn away, but his feet moved forward without his command. The closer he got, the warmer the air became. It was not heat from fire, it was warmth from connection. Her light bathed his face, and for a moment he felt weightless. He saw flashes, images of vast alien cities under twin suns, oceans made of silver, and stars dying in the blackness of space. They were not his memories, yet they felt as real as his own. Serenia reached out, her hand hovering inches from his chest. He could feel the energy from her skin, soft and electric at the same time. Our souls were meant to meet, she said. Ryan's breath quickened. From the corner of his eye, he saw movement. The shadows in the temple were shifting again. This time, they were not just shapes. They were watching him, hundreds of glowing eyes appearing in the darkness. The cum in his ear crackled urgently. "Ryan! There's something moving in there. Get out!" But Serenya's voice drowned them out completely. "Do not fear them. They are witnesses. They have waited for this moment." Her glowing eyes locked onto his. "Join with me, human. And we will never be alone again." Ryan's heart pounded. His mind caught between fear and wonder. The temple around him seemed to fade, replaced by a swirling sea of light. His body felt like it was floating, his thoughts merging with something vast and beautiful. In that moment, he knew nothing would ever be the same, and as her fingers finally touched his chest, the world vanished into blinding light. When the blinding light faded, Ryan found himself standing in a place that was not the temple anymore. The ground beneath him shimmered like glass, reflecting a sky made of swirling colors. Strange floating shapes drifted overhead, like jellyfish made of light. Every breath he took felt heavier, as if he was breathing in thoughts instead of air. Serenia stood before him, her glowing eyes watching him closely. "This is the mind space," she said. Though her lips never moved, her voice surrounded him, echoing from everywhere and nowhere at once. "It is the bridge between your soul and mine." Ryan turned slowly, trying to understand where he was. He could still feel the pull toward her, like an invisible rope tying them together. "You brought me here," he said, his voice sounding small in the vast emptiness. "Yes," Serenia replied gently. "I had to show you what it means to join with me." Her words wrapped around him like silk, soft, warm, and a little dangerous. He wanted to ask why, but images flashed before his eyes before he could speak. He saw her people, tall, luminous beings, walking through cities of crystal towers. He saw the same cities in ruins, shattered by a wave of black energy. Serenia stepped closer, and Ryan felt the air grow warmer. "My people were bound together through the weaving of souls," she explained, "that gave us strength, memories, and life that could endure centuries. But the wave came, and we were torn apart." Ryan felt the sadness in her voice as if it were his own. It was not just words, she was letting him feel her grief. "Why me?" he asked, almost afraid of the answer. "Because you are strong," Serenia said, her eyes shimmering brighter, "not just in body, but in spirit. You can hold me without breaking." Ryan's chest tightened, unsure if this was a compliment or a warning. Her hand lifted toward him, but she didn't touch him this time. Instead, a thin thread of light extended from her palm to his heart. The moment it touched him, he gasped. Memories that were not his own surged into his mind. He saw himself through her eyes, a strange, fragile creature of flesh, yet filled with stubborn will. He felt her curiosity, her longing, her loneliness. It was overwhelming, but also strangely comforting. Back in the real world, Ryan's crew was in chaos. Inside the shuttle, alarms blared. "Captain's vitals are spiking. It's like he's in two places at once." One crew member shouted. They tried to pull him back via the comlink, but it was filled with static. All they could do was watch his body standing frozen in the temple, his eyes glowing faintly in the mind space. Serenia's voice grew softer. "If we merge fully, your mind will carry mine, and mine will carry yours. You will see as I see, feel as I feel. We will not be two, but one." Ryan hesitated. "What happens to me after?" Her gaze didn't waver. "You will still be you, but also more," she said. "Though some parts of you may fade." He stepped back, shaking his head. "That sounds like losing myself." Serenia's expression changed, not anger, but something like desperation. "The wave is returning, human," she warned. "It will destroy not just my people, but yours as well." She showed him an image of Earth, oceans boiling, cities crumbling under a burning sky. Ryan's chest tightened at the sight. The thread of light between them pulsed. He realized it was growing brighter every second. "Are you doing this to me without my permission?" he demanded. Serenia's voice was calm. "The bond has already begun, Ryan. I cannot stop it now." Her honesty sent a shiver down his spine. If she was telling the truth, he was already changing. The mind space around them began to tremble. Far above, the sky of color started to darken. Serenya's head turned sharply, her glowing eyes narrowing. "They found us," she said. Before Ryan could ask who, the darkness cracked open, revealing jagged shapes, creatures made of shadow, their eyes glowing like molten iron. "They are the echo beasts," Serenya said quickly. "They feed on unmerged souls. If they take you before our bond is complete, you will be lost forever." The shadows moved closer, their movements slow and deliberate. Ryan's instincts screamed at him to run. But there was nowhere to go. "This is why you must join with me now," Serenya said, urgency in her voice. Her hand reached toward him again. "Let me in, Ryan." In the shuttle, the crew saw Ryan's body twitch violently. "Something's happening to him," a crew member shouted. "His neural readings are impossible." But no one could enter the temple. The air around it shimmered like a force field. In the mind space, the echo beasts lunged. Ryan made his choice in a split second. He grabbed Serenya's glowing hand, the thread of light between them exploded into a blinding wave. The beasts screamed, their forms shattering like glass. Ryan felt something rush into him, warmth, power, and the presence of another mind beside his own. When the light faded, the beasts were gone. But Ryan's vision was different. Brighter, sharper, he could feel Serenya inside his thoughts. Calm but watching, the bond was no longer just beginning, it had already taken root. And there was no going back. Ryan woke with a sharp gasp. The air felt heavier, and the temple walls seemed brighter than before. For a moment, he wasn't sure if he was still in the mind space or back in the real world. Then he realized he could hear two sets of thoughts, his own and Serenya's. Her voice was calm in his head, steady like a heartbeat. "You are safe for now," she said inside his mind. Ryan staggered, pressing a hand to the cold stone wall. Safe was not the word he would use. His body felt strange, lighter in some ways, heavier in others. He could see faint trails of energy drifting in the air, like invisible currents of wind. Outside the temple, his crew's voices crackled through the "Captain, your vitals are different. What happened in there?" Ryan opened his mouth, but Serenya spoke in his mind first. "Do not tell them everything. They will not understand." He hesitated, then muttered into the "I'm fine." Still investigating, Serenya walked beside him now, her glowing form as real as the stone around them. The bond was deeper. He could feel her emotions without trying. Her curiosity, her alertness, and something else. A pull toward him. "You feel it too," she said, almost like a statement. Ryan avoided her gaze, unsure how to answer. They stepped out into the open air. The sky above Veralia was still dark, the stars sharp and cold. Ryan saw more than before, faint lines of light connecting the stars, forming patterns no human chart had ever shown. "That is the weave," Serenya said softly. "The fabric of all living minds. You can see it now because you are part of it." Ryan frowned. "This isn't normal. I can't keep feeling someone else in my head all the time." Serenya tilted her head. "You speak as if you can go back. There is no going back." Her tone wasn't cruel, just matter of fact. The words sank into him like ice. They began walking toward the shuttle. But Ryan noticed something strange. The air shimmered faintly around Serenya, and as she passed, the ground seemed to hum. "She's affecting the environment," Ryan thought. "Yes," she replied instantly in his mind, "and now so will." Her ability to hear his thoughts without permission sent a shiver down his spine. As they neared the shuttle, his crew stepped back in alarm. "Captain, what's going on?" one of them demanded. Ryan saw their fear. They didn't just see an alien. They saw something inhuman in him now. Serenya stood still, her gaze sweeping over the crew. "They fear what they cannot understand," she whispered in his mind. Ryan ordered his crew to stand down. Reluctantly, they lowered their weapons, but their eyes stayed fixed on her. One of them muttered, "Sir, you're not acting like yourself." Ryan didn't answer. He didn't know if they were wrong. Serenya's presence inside him felt like a second heartbeat. Always there, always aware. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep every time he closed his eyes. Visions came, Serenya's memories bleeding into his. He saw battles fought in the void. Her people weaving their minds together into a living shield. He saw the black wave tearing them apart. When he woke, his hands were shaking. But not from fear, from energy. In the morning, the crew confronted him. "Captain, she's influencing. You need to break this connection before it's too late." Ryan started to argue. But Serenya's voice rose in his mind, sharp and urgent. "They will try to separate us. They don't understand the danger." He felt her fear, and it bled into his own later. Ryan stood alone on the ridge above the temple, staring at the horizon. In the distance, something glimmered in the sky. Moving slowly but steadily, Serenya appeared beside him without a sound. "That is the wave," she said. Even from here, he could feel its wrongness. A cold pressure against his mind. "How long until it reaches us?" he asked. Her answer came like a blade. "Days, maybe less." Back at the shuttle, the crew debated abandoning the mission. But Ryan knew leaving would not save them. The wave would reach Earth too. Serenya told him there was only one way to stop it. A merged soul has the strength to weave against the wave's pattern, she explained. "You and I together can anchor a shield powerful enough to turn it." Ryan stared at her. "And if I refuse?" Her eyes darkened like eclipsed stars. "Then the wave will erase us both, and everything you have ever loved." Her words left no room for doubt. The bond pulsed between them, stronger now. It was more than connection. It was dependency. That night, Ryan stood outside the shuttle, the alien wind brushing against his face. Two voices warred in his head, his own and Serenya's. Part of him wanted to cut the bond, to go back to being just human. The other part wanted to see how far this connection could go. Serenya's voice was quiet now, almost tender. "We are not enemies, Ryan. We are becoming something greater." And deep inside, he knew she was right, and that terrified him. The morning sky over Veralia was darker than before. Clouds swirled in slow spirals. Lit from within by flashes of pale light, Ryan stood on the ridge again, scanning the horizon with his visor. Far beyond the mountains, the black wave shimmered like a living wall. It pulsed in and out, as if breathing, stretching across the sky. Serenya appeared beside him, silent as always. Her glowing hair moved without wind, her eyes fixed on the distant wave. "It has entered this system," she said quietly. Ryan felt her words not just in his ears, but deep in his bones. The bond between them pulsed in warning, like a drumbeat. Back at the shuttle, the crew worked in tense silence. Every instrument showed erratic readings, power fluctuations, radiation spikes, energy anomalies. One crew member muttered, "We shouldn't even be here." Another whispered, "It's her. She's bringing it toward us." When Ryan walked in, the room fell silent. They avoided his eyes, but he could feel their suspicion like a physical weight. "Captain," the chief engineer said, "we've run simulations. If that thing hits, the planet will be torn apart." Ryan glanced at Serenya, who stood just outside the hatch. "She says we can stop it." Ryan replied. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. One finally spoke. "Sir, she's in your head. How do you know she's not lying?" Serenya stepped forward, her presence filling the small space. "I do not lie," she said, her voice carrying both calm and authority. "If I wished you harm, your minds would already be gone." The crew stiffened. It was not a threat, but a reminder of her power. Ryan raised a hand, motioning for everyone to stay calm. "Explain," Ryan told her. His tone sharp. Serenya met his gaze. "The wave is not just energy, it is hunger," she said. "It devours thought, memory, and identity, leaving only emptiness." Her eyes flickered, and for a second, Ryan saw flashes of cities turning to dust. Her voice deepened. "It destroyed my people because we were unprepared. But you and I are not." The bond pulsed again, stronger than before. Ryan's mind filled with images, himself standing in the path of the wave. His body glowing with alien light, his hands outstretched, weaving invisible threads in the air. Beside him, Serenya's form merged with his. Their voices one. The vision ended abruptly, leaving his chest tight. In the corner, the communications officer interrupted. Multiple ships entering orbit, human military signatures. Ryan's stomach tightened. They followed our beacon, Serenya said. And they will see me as the threat. She was right. The first hail came. Within seconds, unidentified alien presence detected. Human crew. Stand down and prepare for extraction. The military commander's voice was cold. You are ordered to surrender the alien immediately. Ryan could feel Serenya's reaction inside him. Not fear, but resolve. They will take me apart, she said in his mind. And if they succeed, the wave will pass unhindered. Ryan stood frozen for a moment. If he obeyed his own people, Serenya would be gone, and maybe Earth's only chance with her. If he defied them, he would be branded a traitor. The pull of two worlds tightened inside him like a rope. The decision was made for him when the first missile streaked through the clouds. It exploded near the temple, sending a shockwave across the sand. The crew shouted in panic. Serenya moved instantly, raising her hand toward the sky. A dome of shimmering light formed above them, deflecting the next strike. Ryan stared in shock. You can do this without merging fully? He asked. For now, she said, her voice strained. But the wave will not be stopped by half measures. Outside, more ships descended, their engines roaring like thunder. The soldiers moved in formation, weapons ready. Serenya turned to Ryan, her glowing eyes intense. You must choose now, your people or the survival of all worlds. The crew looked at him, waiting. The military commander's voice came again through the comm. Captain Ryan, surrender the alien or be fired upon. Ryan's heartbeat thundered in his ears. Serenya stepped closer, the bond pulsing in rhythm with his pulse. I will not beg, she said. But without me, the wave will take everything. The air seemed to vibrate with her words. Ryan looked at his crew, loyal, frightened, human, and then at Serenya. The black wall on the horizon was closer now. It swallowed the mountains as if they were shadows. Ryan clenched his jaw. Get back to the ship, he ordered the crew. They hesitated. That's an order, he barked. Serenya's eyes softened. She knew his choice before he spoke it. The comm crackled one last time. Captain, final warning. Ryan shut it off. Then we fight, he said. The temple began to glow as Serenya placed her hand on its walls. Ancient machinery rumbled to life beneath the sand. Ryan felt the bond tightened until it was almost painful. We will stand together, Serenya said, or fall together. And as the military forces closed in, the shadow of the wave swallowed the sky above them. Asterisk. The ground trembled beneath Ryan's boots. Ancient stone plates shifted, revealing glowing patterns beneath the sand. A deep hum rose from the earth, steady and powerful. Serenya stood in the center of the temple, her arms outstretched. Light poured from the carvings into her body, wrapping her in streams of silver and gold. Ryan felt the bond inside him pull harder. It was like an invisible tide dragging him toward her. His vision flickered. One moment he was in the temple, the next in the mind space. The colors there swirled faster, storm-like. The weaving threads stretched tight, trembling with strain. Outside, the military closed in, their weapons locked on the temple, voices sharp over the comm. Final chance. Captain, step away from the alien. Ryan ignored them, his focus locked on Serenya. Her voice filled his mind. It is time, she said. The merging must begin now. He stepped toward her. Energy surged up through the floor, racing along the lines of the carvings. When he reached her, she placed her glowing hands on his chest. A shock of heat spread through him, almost painful. But beneath it was something else. A deep, undeniable connection. The hum in the air grew louder, joined by a deep, rhythmic pulse. It felt like a heartbeat the size of a planet. Ryan's own heart matched its rhythm. Light rose from the floor. Swirling around them both, his crew shouted from outside, "Captain! Stop! This is killing you!" But their voices were distant now, almost fading away. Serenya's eyes locked on his. "If you wish to leave, it must be now," she said. Her words were steady, but Ryan could feel the truth. There was no turning back. "I'm not leaving," he said. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "Then hold nothing back." The temple's walls began to shift, their carvings rotating like massive gears. Each turn released more light, flooding the chamber. In the mind space, Ryan saw threads of energy wrapping around him. They were not just binding him to Serenia, they were rewriting him. His thoughts began to mix with hers. Memories overlapped. His childhood laughter merging with her centuries-old songs. The lines between them blurred. Outside, the military opened fire. Explosions shook the temple, but the energy dome held. The commander's voice barked orders. "They're trying to overload the barrier." Ryan could feel the impacts as faint ripples in the mind space. Serenia's voice was firm. "Do not break focus. They cannot touch us if the weave is complete." The merging deepened. Ryan felt his senses expanding. He could hear the soldiers' heartbeats outside. He could taste the static in the air. He could see the black wave on the horizon without turning his head. It was closer now, a wall of swirling void that ate the light around it. Its presence pressed against his mind like a predator testing a cage. Serenia's voice softened. "Do you feel it? This is what it means to be more than one." Ryan's body felt weightless, yet heavy with power, but in the back of his mind, a shadow of fear lingered. Would there be anything left of just him when this was done? Serenia must have sensed it, because her voice became almost tender. "I am not here to erase you. I am here to carry you with me." The final stage began. The light in the temple rose so high it seemed to erase the walls. They stood in an endless space of gold and coal. Silver threads. Serenia's form glowed brighter until she was almost impossible to look at. Ryan's hands trembled, but he didn't let go. One final pulse of energy surged between them, and in that instant, he felt everything. Her joy, her pain, her centuries of wandering alone. Then the threads snapped into place. A sound like 1,000 voices speaking. As one echoed through the chamber, Ryan gasped. His own voice was part of it. The merging was complete. When the light faded, they stood together, but Ryan's eyes now glowed with the same galaxy deep light as Serenia's outside. The military fell silent. The dome had vanished, but the soldiers stood frozen, weapons lowered. They could feel it. Something had changed. Ryan took a step forward, and the air around him rippled with energy. Serenia stood beside him, though now her presence was not just next to him, it was inside him. The black wave loomed closer. Ryan turned to face it. "We stop it now," he said, his voice layered with hers. The bond pulsed one final time, and they moved toward the horizon. The soldiers, the crew, and the planet itself watched as the merged being walked to meet the end of worlds. Asterisk. The air around Ryan shimmered with waves of invisible heat. Every step he took left faint ripples in the ground. His body felt both lighter and heavier at the same time. Every breath carried a strange hum, as if the world itself was breathing with him. Serenia's voice was inside him, not as a whisper anymore, but as a constant presence. "We are balanced now," she said, her words echoing like music. Ryan lifted his hand, and streams of light coiled between his fingers. He could feel the heartbeat of the planet beneath his boots. He could sense the pulse of the black wave drawing nearer. It was no longer a distant wall. It was a tide rushing in behind him. The crew stood in silence. They looked at Ryan with a mix of awe and fear. One of them whispered, "That's not just him anymore." Ryan could hear them even without turning. Their voices were like small ripples in a vast ocean of sound. Far above, the military ships hovered, their weapons powered down, not from surrender, but from uncertainty. They didn't know if firing would destroy him or something much larger. Ryan ignored them, his gaze locked on the horizon. The black wave boiled and churned like a storm made of shadow. Serenya's presence pulsed in his mind. The wave is not only destruction, it is a mindless hunger, she explained. We must give. It's something greater than what it can take, Ryan frowned. And what's greater than everything? Her answer was simple, unity. They moved forward, their bodies perfectly in sync. When Ryan stepped, Serenya's light flared from his skin. When she breathed, his chest rose with hers. Their thoughts flowed into each other without pause there. Was no space between I and we. As they neared the temple's edge, the ground cracked under the pressure of their power. Small stones floated upward. Suspended in the air, Ryan raised his arms. And threads of light shot from his fingertips. They arched high above, weaving into glowing patterns in the sky. Each thread connected to another, forming an intricate web. The crew watched from a safe distance. What's he doing? One asked. The engineer swallowed hard. Building a shield. I think, but the shield was not just above them. It was expanding outward. It stretched toward the wave, reaching into the emptiness beyond. The black wave reacted, its surface writhed and tendrils of darkness lashed forward. Ryan felt the impact in his chest like a blow. Serenya steadied him from within. Do not let it pull you, hold the weave, she urged. The threads tightened, glowing brighter. The first tendril hit the shield. A shockwave rippled through the ground, making the crew stagger. Ryan gritted his teeth, his muscles trembling. Inside his head, Serenya poured her strength into him. Their merged will pushed back against the shadow. But the wave didn't stop. It surged forward, pressing harder. More tendrils struck, clawing at the shield. Ryan's vision blurred. This thing doesn't give up, he muttered. Neither do we, Serenya replied, her voice fierce then. Ryan did something instinctive. He stepped forward, directly toward the wave. The shield moved with him, narrowing its focus instead of blocking. It became a spear of light. Serenya caught his intention instantly. Pierce its heart, she said. They advanced together, the spear cutting through the darkness. The tendrils recoiled, shrieking without sound. The wave rippled violently, as if it had been wounded. For the first time it seemed to hesitate. Ryan felt the opening, the moment to strike fully. They poured everything into the spear, every memory, every feeling, every part of their merged selves. It wasn't just power, it was identity. The light exploded forward, tearing into the center of the wave. Darkness split apart, revealing a void so deep it felt endless. For a heartbeat, the world went silent. Then slowly the wave began to collapse. Its edges crumbled into fragments of black dust. The pieces dissolved into the air, carried away like ash. Ryan stood still, breathing hard, his body glowing faintly. The crew stared at the sky in disbelief. It's gone, one whispered. Ryan didn't answer. He was listening to Serenya. Her voice was softer now. The threat is ended. For this world, he felt the weight in her tone. She was already thinking of other worlds that might still face it. As the last traces of the wave vanished, Ryan turned back to his people. They didn't cheer. They didn't rush forward. They only watched him, the man who was no longer entirely human. Serenya spoke in his mind. They will never look at you the same way again. Ryan knew she was right, and for the first time, he didn't know if that was good or bad. The battlefield was quiet now. The wind moved slowly over the red sands of Veralia. The black wave was gone, leaving only the soft glow of the alien temple behind. Ryan stood at its entrance, his crew gathered in the distance. They kept their distance not because of orders, but because they were unsure what he had become. Serenya's presence filled his thoughts as naturally as his own breathing. It is done, she said, her voice warm but tinged with something deeper. But our journey is not over. Ryan looked at his hands, the faint lines of light still tracing across his skin. They pulsed gently, like a living heartbeat. The crew approached slowly. The first officer stepped forward, speaking carefully. Captain, are you still you? Ryan met his gaze. Yes, he said, but his voice carried Serenya's tone beneath it. It was his answer, and hers, They reported that the military ships had left orbit. No one knew if it was fear, respect, or confusion that made them retreat. But for now, there was no more gunfire, no more shouting, only the alien wind, the temple's hum, and the sound of their own thoughts. Ryan turned to face the temple once more. Its carvings glowed softly, no longer pulsing with urgency. Serena's voice touched his mind. "This place will fade without the wave's presence. Its purpose is complete." Ryan asked quietly, "Then where do we go now?" Her answer came without hesitation. Everywhere. As they began to walk toward the shuttle, Ryan felt a strange pull, not toward the ship, but toward the stars. It wasn't just wanderlust. It was as if the weave itself was calling them forward. Every thread he saw in the sky seemed to connect to another, leading far beyond human maps. The crew hesitated at the shuttle ramp. "Sir, what happens to us now?" one asked. Ryan looked back at them. "You'll go home," he said gently. A ripple of emotion passed through them, relief mixed with something like loss. They had followed their captain into the unknown, and now they were watching him step. Somewhere they could not go. Serena stood beside him, though now her presence was more than physical. Her thoughts layered over his like twin currents in a single river. "You feel it too," she said. "The stars are not silent, they are waiting." Ryan nodded. "Then we go to them." The crew saluted, a silent farewell. No one tried to stop him. They knew there was no chain of command strong enough to bind him now. Ryan stepped away from the shuttle, heading toward the far side of the temple. With each step, the ground seemed to respond. Glowing faintly under his boots, beyond the temple, a portal began to form. It wasn't like the shield or the spear. It was calm, swirling light. Inside it, Ryan saw glimpses of other worlds, other skies, some beautiful, some broken. Serena's voice was steady. "Each one holds a thread of the weave, and some may face the same darkness we have defeated here." Ryan took one last look at the crew. "Take care of home," he said simply. The first officer gave a short nod, his voice quiet. "You too, Captain." Ryan smiled faintly. Though it felt strange, even his smile was now touched by Serena's presence. They stepped into the portal together. There was no sensation of moving, only the feeling of being everywhere and nowhere at once. The colors around them shifted, stretching into rivers of light. Ryan could feel other minds brushing against his, distant, curious, ancient. Serena's voice wrapped around him like a steady anchor. "We are part of something vast now, Ryan. But you are still you, on the other side." They emerged into the orbit of a world with 3 suns. Its surface shimmered with oceans of gold and mountains like crystal. Ryan felt the hum of its people through the weave, alive but wary. "They can feel us," he said. "Yes," Serena replied, "and they will decide if they welcome us." Ryan realized then that this was what forever meant. Not endless stillness, but endless movement. Not a single home, but 1,000 waiting paths. Serena's thoughts touched his like a warm current. "We will see them all, and we will not be alone." The portal behind them closed. The Temple of Veralia was now just a memory. Ahead lay the infinite threads of the weave. Ryan looked at the horizon of the new world. "Let's begin," he said, and together they walked forward into a forever that was theirs alone.